Jesus Christ. Hold on, Pedro. Hold on 1 second here. I don't know why I was hearing myself, and I'm getting this echo here, and I can't tell if it's me or you. Check 1 2 1 2. Right, yeah. Mike's maybe hot here. Although I had music in the background. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be with you in just a moment. Check 1 2 1 2. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Sorry for the late start here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media universe. So glad to be hosting another episode of this show on this great March 11th, 2025. So much is going on with the markets right now. We've been talking about the bearish markets all week. Well, not all week, but yesterday and today. And it continues today, staying down in the ranges that Pedro had predicted a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago. But that at least leads me to say, Pedro Garcia, welcome to the show. Right when he's eating it. I gotta figure out why you eat on air. I'll never figure this out. And your mic's off.
What it is it's a couple things.
It's
One,
disgusting.
it may be disgusting, but I'm actually tapping into two major things here. It's an actually dopamine. And this is
No,
science. I'm serious.
no.
No,
You give me that all the time. I'm pushing back on this one. You
go
don't
look
ever
it up.
you never see Tom Brokaw, Katie Couric. You never
We're
see
not
any of those
Tom
people eating
Brokaw.
on TV.
We are not Tom Brokaw. We are not Katie
We are
Couric.
trying to be.
Really?
Yes.
When did that happen? I mean,
We're
I get it.
We're trying to be the top, not the bottom. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. What's going on, Pedro?
Not much, dude. How you doing? So I guess people were hearing our talk backstage.
They are
Were
hearing
we
my
live
side
or
of it,
were we-
Pedro.
Huh?
They were only hearing me.
Good. Good. Well, there was nothing bad what I was saying, but I was shocked with I went down to New York yesterday. A buddy of mine has cancer, and so he called me up and said, "Hey, I'm feeling strong. Um, what are you up for?" And I said, "I'm up for anything, bro. What's up?" He goes, "You want to go to New York?" I said, "Yeah. All right, let's go." So he's feeling strong, and he's still in the middle of like he just got through chemo, his first set, and they're kind of diagnosing everything, and the numbers are good, so he's getting some strength back, but he's still not out of the woods yet. And so I basically was just like, "All right, let's go." So we went down there and enjoyed New York, and found this amazing pizza place called Pizza or John's Pizza. Holy dear Lord! Right off of 42nd Street. Good God.
Delicious pizza. There's just nothing
Oh,
better.
bro. Listen, New York pizza is top notch. And listen, I'm from like I'm not
Interesting.
from, but I hang out over and I get when I get my pizza, I get over at Pepe's over in New Haven, right? Which is top notch, like world renowned pizza. It's
It's
absolutely
meme
just
coin pizza.
it is mean going pizza. It's called Pepe's, right? And it's just you can't no if anybody's around there or been there,
Ooh, whoops, wrong button.
Barstools
Sorry.
talks about it. Um, so when I say I do enjoy pizza, okay? Dog, this place called John's Pizza in New York, they cook with coals like you would cook with a like a barbecue, and it just oh my goodness, bro. It does the flavor is phenomenal. The cheese, dude,
Where is it?
you're gonna
Downtown, midtown, uptown?
it's right off of what's it called? Why am I forgetting what that's called? It's right down the road from
Downtown,
Times
midtown, or
Square.
uptown?
Um,
Times Square, midtown.
Times Square, Midtown. Yeah, I was gonna say Midtown, but it is, bro. You're gonna pay $50. $35 for a pie, but good God,
My favorite pizza joint in New York was in Manhattan, down near the World Trade Center. It didn't get blown up. It didn't get blown up. But when I used to work down there, I used to go down there every day for lunch, and I would go about 3 times a week to this pizza joint and just get a slice. It was just slices, Some place you could order a pie and people take it back to the office, but it was just slices, and you just eat it right in there on the bar, leaning across the out, looking out the window. Everyone just stands there. There's just napkins and cheese. And it was the most delicious stuff. I looked forward to it. In the nice weather, I'd go sit out in a little park outside of One Liberty Square, and it was so good. It was so good. It was just these Italian guys from Brooklyn. It must have been like a neighborhood. They didn't look related, but they just, it was just this group. I went back there when I went to go see the World War II, the
I'm sorry. Wait,
9/11 memorial.
I'm sorry. I have to. I'm gonna have to cast the devil out of Jesus, the Lord and Savior. How dare you? How dare you desecrate such amazing, holy things like that? Please, I'm not going to even reference it, but I might even just ban you over that, good sir. And I'm a tolerant person.
Jesus brought up pineapple on the pizza. I like pineapple on the pizza.
What?
Sorry, patron. Yeah,
Wait,
that's
what?
right. And not on New
I'm
York
sorry.
style
Okay,
pizza. Not on New York
guys,
style pizza.
this is my final moments here on DYOR. I'm sorry, I can't be here anymore. This crazy and desecration, I can't handle the demonicness here too much.
Anyway, not on New York style pizza. But and so I went back to the pizza joint down there in Manhattan when I went to go see the
Yeah.
new trade center, and I was like,
Yep.
oh, it's still here. So I had to go get pizza. So I'm with Mrs. Striking.
Mhm.
I go in and it's the same setup.
Mhm.
I first went there
I've
in the
entered the
80s.
thing.
And
Yeah.
so when I walk in, it's a different group of guys. It's a bunch of Syrians now. And
Mm.
so I was like, God, keep hitting the wrong button here. And so I was like, all right. I looked around. I looked at the pizza. The pizza still looked good. And I said, all right, I'm going to try it. Got a slice, bit into it, and it just wasn't. It looked the same. It just wasn't the same. And I was like, "Ah." And I left. I ate the pizza because I was hungry, but I
Yeah,
left.
but it was not. There's there's a major difference, bro. A major difference when it comes to
This
pizza.
is my fucking StreamYard working, you pieces of
I
shit.
don't know. Sometimes it happens. Um,
Ah,
it was one of those things, so I have to admit. Um, it's funny is down in California, there's this thing called vegetarian pizza, and I just am like, how is this even like? I can't handle that. Just even the thought of it, like the vegetarian pizza, except for just pure cheese, which is my only form of
right, that's what
vegetarian
I like, the slice of
pure
cheese,
cheese. But when they
sometimes with
start throwing
pepperoni.
weird broccoli and weird craziness, I'm like, what? What is going on? And part of that is Hawaiian. I'm like, dude, even as a kid, I knew growing up in Cali, right, that you can't add sweet and savory together. I mean, in relationship to pizza, you just cannot. Not in
Chirac.
Chirac, Chirac.
That's not
I
Chicago's nickname, Chirac.
oh.
Anyway, uh, Jesus, good luck at that,
Uh,
DMV
well,
there. Well, in Chicago, you know what's amazing? In Illinois, the land of the bureaucratic government and disaster and corruption and all that type of stuff, the DMV, I gotta tell you, the last guy that ran the DMV, obvious political hack, but he did a great job. He did a great job. Now you just go on a website, make an appointment, you show up, you wait 1 minute, and there's always appointments. It's just it eliminated the line. It's wonderful. And you go, you just show up, you get the lady says, you show your app, they scan you in, boop, not your app, but just the barcode, and it works great. I was like, I had to go. I was like, oh, I gotta go. My son was like, oh, dad, they got it all fixed now. I was like, what? I said, son, you will never, never understand the life of humans having to wait in a DMV to renew something that should not need to be renewed anymore. I don't understand why licenses. Mrs. Striking's mother is going to is getting ready for vacation and going down to Florida and just learned that her Nexus, that's the global entry for Americans, Nexus is expiring or expired. She can't use the quick line, cut the line, go through the easy security. Why do they expire? The government knows if you've committed a felony, it's all the computer controls it all now. I don't understand. That shouldn't expire anymore. They just if you need, they say, well, we got to put an updated picture. No, the government knows what you look like now anyway because of facial recognition. We don't need them. Hopefully, Doge comes in and axes it, ladies and gentlemen. I got beat up on social media the other day because I like to go over and I post the show on Blue Sky, and Blue Sky is almost all crazy libtards because they couldn't take it, hack it on X anymore. And they beat me up over Elon. They're like, "Oh, he's a fake. He's a phony. He inherited all that. He didn't do anything. That kind of stuff." And I was like, "Come on, guys." I was like, "Really? You believe that? You believe his?" They're like, His dad gave him everything and all that. His dad gave him $2,000. We talked about this the other day. Anyway, of which Elon lost in traveler's checks and had to replace them and figured out there needs to be a better payment system. So he started X Bank and merged with two guys, David Sachs, who's now the crypto czar, and another guy who's Ukrainian. Can't remember his name. And formed PayPal and became millionaires and billionaires. Isn't that great? Great
they
story.
they bumped heads big time. Him and David Sachs, which I find really interesting. Um, and then to see what actually happens with now how they interact with each other. But here's the thing, Elon was right. And what was so interesting is they brought him back
Yeah, he
to PayPal.
apologized to them. It was
Yeah.
the rare times Elon's ever apologized to anyone.
Hmm. But like,
Oh, where is
I just
my?
I thought that was really interesting more than anything, just simply watching the interaction. And do you see how they kind of like they're not necessarily the best of friends, but they definitely you can definitely see like when they interact in Washington or whatever, like they're they respect each other, like immensely respect each other. You can see it. Like they kind of look at each other and kind of like Elon's like, "What's up?" And the other one's like, "What's up?" Like it's like that you could definitely see there's they don't necessarily like each other, but they don't, like, I don't think they're gonna go out drinking, after but
Exactly.
but one would say, "Hey, what's your thoughts on this? I need to know your thoughts," because, you know, he's got a good mind. You gotta respect the mind, man. Like, you may not respect me, or excuse me, you may not like me, but you can't deny what I do on the chart. You may block me on X because you don't like my views. And you may block me, and I may not be able to get into spaces that I'm actually invited to. That I get, hey, I want you to come check out my space, Pedro. Come. Right. And not like, hey, they'll specifically say, hey, Pedro, will you come and check me out? Blah, 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 right. And be on my space. I'll be like, yeah. And then all of a sudden I'll go there and I can't go in because literally I'm blocked. And I'm like, somebody on your panel has blocked me, so I can't come in. Like, who? And this happens probably once a week. So I don't know. I don't know who's hating on me
You
now.
heard it here. Pedro gets blocked once a week.
Or at least out of a lot of the invites that I get sent, like a lot of them I can't go to. And I don't know why. I really don't know. Like, who's got me blocked? And I still haven't been able to like figure it out. And it's more than one person. So whatever. What are you gonna do? Anyways, speaking of Bitcoin.
Pedro, I'm in a little bit of a long right now in Bitcoin.
Nice.
The it was down earlier on the open. There's some high volatility on the open today.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
was up, it was down, it was up, it was down. Um, and I took the liberty of not trading any of that and waiting it out. And so I waited it out until it came back above the 1 minute SMA 200 SMA, and it followed that for a little bit. Went back and touched it and bounced off it. And I said, "All right, I'm going to get a little bit long here. I'm up $20. Should I take my $20 now, or are we going to continue up in the short term here?" My green screen is fuzzy today. Is my Bitcoin pricing right here? 324. Do to do. Why can't I pull my chart up here? Uh, yeah, that's not right. Why didn't that update? I just asked if my long was still good, and then the pricing on the show graphic says it's down $3,000. I was like, what the hell? There we go. All right. Now we got it right. $81,600. While you're finishing that, Pedro, yesterday I forgot to mention this, but we started down this topic but didn't get it, and I'll just bring it up real quick. In about January 1st, the total crypto market cap was $3.5 trillion. And as of yesterday, it was $2.5 trillion. And everyone's talking about the alts and Bitcoin and all. Bitcoin did come down significantly, but the alts came down a lot. A lot of money came out of the alts and torpedoed, as they say, the total chart. I think that's what you taught me, was to look at the total chart. And went from 3.5 trillion. I didn't realize it had gotten as high as 3.5 trillion, but it went all the way down to 2.5 trillion, which is a lot of money. And where does that money go? That's my question. I understand institutional trading. They just move it. They go buy bonds. They go buy Tesla. No, they didn't buy Tesla stock because money came out of Tesla too. They buy other things, but a lot of the retail money came out as well. And I'm always wondering where the retail people put their money. If they just lost it, squandered it, and the institutional traders took it, um, or um, if they pull it out and just waste it on hookers and booze in Ibiza. Because generally, as I've found, the degens do not go to cash. they find somewhere to get rid of the money. You're on mute.
I probably went over to Korea, just straight up. They
Korea.
just got robbed. Yeah, North Korea, because they got robbed from some scam token. But that's the DJs. But on the back end here, I would sit there and say, like, and no disrespect to DJs. Hey, I know many guys who have become multi millionaires. So respect to the DJs who are in the trenches. Keep strong. Stay degenic. All right. But I think I because you can earn such really good returns on your, USDC, USDT. I mean, get up to like 3%. I'm at 4 or 5% right now. In some cases, get up to. I mean, I saw on one. I think it was given like 8%, 9% because they needed holders, right, for whatever reason.
Right.
And so you could stake it, and boom, I was just like, holy shit. I wish I had a bunch of dry powder to put it into that. Imagine having, 10 million saying, "Hey, I'll drop 3 million and give me 8%, 8, 10%." like, thank you. Just $80,000, $90,000, bro. Like all day long, every day. Why wouldn't you do it? So, but on a back end here, I like these. I like the staking. I think maybe they had to go to cash. Why wouldn't you go to cash if they pulled it out? I wonder what the stable coin stable.
Like I said, another trading group. I mean, not another trading group, but one of the forums that I follow. All the people that were heavily invested in altcoins basically said that they've round tripped it from 4 years ago. They all the DCAing they did, everything came right back down. In fact, now they're underwater because even the DCAing they did just they got blown up, and so they don't know what to do. A lot of them panic sold. Said
Yeah,
I dumped my Solana at 109. Now Solana's back at 120.
yeah.
Um,
Told
a
you.
lot, a lot of them just capitulated and said, "I'm out and I'm done. I'm broke." Uh, and I saw a bunch of people that said, "All right, I've taken my spot and I need to make it back." So they dropped it over in the futures market and just got absolutely wrecked uh, over there. But I didn't hear a lot of. There wasn't a lot of people saying, "Oh, I took my money out and I put it in the bank, got some fiat, or just put it in USDT and just sitting there." Everyone had something to do with it. They couldn't get over that concept of, "Hey, do
Go
nothing."
cash.
Or
Yeah, go cash.
they could even get to that concept. They just said, it's like a
Next gen.
it's like the sports betting, the gamblers, the guys that have to
Next
gamble
gen
on the next game, and then I'll make it back next one. I'll make it back next one, and that's not how it works in crypto. I mean,
and
it's
trading.
it's not like roulette where you just keep betting on red and it's going to hit it eventually. Although there is the world record, 26 blacks in a row.
Really?
Yeah. 26 black is
26
the world
blacks
record.
bro. My
I was
God.
at Monte Carlo in the 70s. It's a famous story. Maybe not in the 70s, might have been in the 90s, but it was a while ago. 26 blacks in a row.
My
I mean, just
goodness.
the odds on that are almost impossible to calculate.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
octaseptilgajillion, something like that.
yeah. Oh,
And
really? So
of course, people said, "Oh, it's the table's fixed." And they came out and took the table apart right in front of them. Said, "You can look at it. This is a strange, strange thing." Anyway,
you think about like all the roulette tables out there in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like always running every, what is it, every 20 seconds they're running. And that was just that one time that it did it. Like, you know, it's kind of amazing. And dude, they keep track of that stuff, bro, like religiously. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's definitely not like the US government. It's it is literally the opposite of the US government, the way they handle their money. Statistics that are kept off of bets and odds, bro, are so like there is a minute, I would say, you can't. Here's the thing. I've never been to a casino and walked away with less money that I ever went in with. I always walked away with money. There's never been a time. But I also play roulette, and I actually use it. Like, you know how I trade where I look at where the buyers are and the sellers are? I
Yeah.
do the same thing on my roulette when I trade. But here's the thing: if it's a dead night, I can't play roulette. But if it's a busy night and there was a ton of people in the casino and a lot of them are on the roulette tables, I can make money. But I can't make money just going in. You
Actually,
know
one
that.
of the largest bets I ever placed on in roulette, it was $100 on red, and this is back in the '90s. $100 was a lot of money to me, but I was with my boys when I lived in LA, doing the swingers trip up to Vegas, and we were at a casino that no
Swingers
longer
trip.
exists called the Riviera. One of the guys we were with knew the former owner of it, Alan something, and we were rolling. We had suits on, we were acting the part and all this type of stuff. There's some really funny stories from this trip, but anyway, tables crowded, this kind of stuff, and it came up red, and the dealer paid everyone, and I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, uh, mine," and they're like, "You were on black," and I was like, "No, I wasn't. I was on red," and I put it there. And he's like, "Sorry, I've been doing." It was nice. The guy's like, "I've been doing this a long time. I know the table. You put it on black." I was like, "No, I didn't. I put it on red." And I can't remember the reason why, but I picked red out of not just like, "Oh, red." I was like, "Oh," I looked at the board and I said, "Well, I'll try red." So I said, "Ask the boss to come over." And I said to the boss the same thing. Boss goes, picks up the phone. He says, "Hold on a minute,"
Yeah, it's
and
all
he
video.
says, "Give me 5 minutes." 5 minutes later, the boss comes over to me with $200 chips. He said, "The guy next to you, when he reached over to place his bet, his cuff hung down and pushed your um, chip from red to black."
Oh,
And I didn't
snaps.
notice it. I didn't notice that he just reached over to put something down, and he had big cuffs hanging out, like you have your jacket and then French cuffs. His cuffs were way out, and he pushed it, and he goes, "Here you go. Here's your $200." I was like, "Woo! Woohoo!" Guess how fast I lost that $200, Pedro?
The next play?
It was it was gone. 20 minutes, that shit was gone.
That was about right. But you got some fun out of it.
Crypto Postman in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
What's
What's
up,
up?
brother?
Thanks for joining us, Crypto Postman. Really, really, really enjoy it. Really appreciate it. And thanks to everyone watching on Rumble today. Got a big crowd
Yeah,
on Rumble.
there we go. I
Thank
was
you
about to
very
say.
much. The Rumble algorithm is really it's honing in on what we talk about. We tend to talk about things going well in Washington D.C. A couple of months ago, we talked about how badly it was going, and now how good it's going with Doge and all that kind of stuff and all the crypto stuff. So the Rumble algorithm is giving us the boost, while the YouTube algorithm is giving us the toast.
Mhm.
It's really funny how that works. Really, since Mr. Trump has been president, our YouTube we were at 1,000 viewers one day, and now it's it's zip. It's really the weirdest thing.
But yesterday we got somebody totally randomly new, which I thought was really
Yep. Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. It still shows up on people's feeds, but the notification people say they don't get notified anymore of it. Very few people do.
Yeah, yeah. We, uh, we've definitely pissed off some people there. It's probably that intern who's more of a centralist going, "You know what? Those guys really talk a lot really well. I like what they say. I'm gonna use them." And then their boss comes, "These guys are on the naughty list. What are you doing?"
I got stopped out my trade. Fortunately, I moved my stop to break even,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
got stopped out. Actually, I lost $1 because of the settlement.
I'm sorry, I totally forgot about that. I was gonna tell you, the S&P 500 selling off, so I was gonna tell you to get out, and I just totally forgot.
I
It
despise
was
that
about
Bitcoin now
1,500.
follows the S&P 500.
Bro, I'm gonna despise it all you want, but you gotta. The market is always right. It is always right,
No,
and
I
I don't
liked it
mean
when
a
it used to go the inverse of it. It used to go
yeah.
up. Used to now, nope.
We talked about this a long time ago. I said, "When the institutions come in, we will
Thank you,
see this
Swollen Enlistment, for your spam. Appreciate the engagement. Thank you.
swollen and listening." This is
Swollen
it.
Enlistment. It
Oh,
has to be
enlistment.
two random names just assigned together.
Mm.
Crypto Postman, if you got a question and want to say anything, just let us know. We're
Yeah,
obviously in
man.
a talking mood today.
Yeah, we are. We're just kinda jibber jabbering. Dude, so there's a lot of stuff going on. It is kinda crazy. Have you read any of this news here?
I had read lots of news, got lots of different topics. Although I got to say, I haven't read a lot of crypto news in the past day. Um, I've had some work things that I've had to do, so I've been reading a lot of government lobbying type news.
I can only imagine, especially being in Canada, bro. I mean,
I gotta tell you, this place is when the dumpster fire didn't get put out, but it moved away from Joe Biden. It just said, I need to go somewhere else. It came right to Canada. Just went up I-95, hooked over on the New York Thruway, and then went north up into Canada. And people will be driving along and say, hey, is that the Wienermobile? No, that's a dumpster fire. That's a disaster.
bro, it is crazy up there.
They're talking about spending more money and more money and more money. And they
Where are
keep
you
saying,
guys getting it?
we have the best credit rating, we have the lowest debt to GDP, blah blah blah. It's the debt is still more than the annual budget by far, and it's growing like crazy. They doubled the workforce of the federal government, who are all unionized and impossible to get rid of. Uh, it's it's they're throwing money out faster than anyone else as a per capita here. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, you guys are up at so American US debt, I believe it goes up like $4 billion a day or something like that. No, a little bit more than that. Um,
Crypto Postman must be a few minutes behind. Make sure you hit that live button, Mr. Crypto Postman. Get to the live. Pedro will head back to BTC here in a minute if he doesn't cover it on.
Canadian. I wonder what so how you guys don't have the best GDP. You guys, your public debt is GDP is 117%. Like Argentina is better than that. And they were like in debt for the last 50 years. I'm just looking at it percentage wise. Um, let me move a little
Carmen
bit.
Crypto in the house. Hello, Chumbalones. Thanks for joining
Uh,
us, Carmen Crypto, all the way from Las Vegas. I was just telling a story about Las Vegas. You missed it. About when at time I went gambling at the old Riviera. No longer there.
mhm,
Got blowed up.
mhm.
Carmen
Bloated it
Crypto
up.
says big announcement coming from me next week. Well, obviously
Ooh,
you're going to have to do it here. Give the alpha here on our show, right?
bring it, bring it. If you don't, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna curl up and weep and gnashing of teeth. I I was trying to listen to a space last night and was having issues. How was your ex doing?
Now it's all fine. I had one on for a little bit last night. It was fine. Today it's fine. But
Yeah,
with this dark storm or whoever they are tried to put Elon out of business. They're like, we took X down, and like, not really. It kind of just made it slow for a while.
right. It's almost like there's this cartoon where like they're attacking this like human and there's these little like things and they're like going after this human and he moves, the human just kind of moves like this. And they were all, yeah, we got him to move, we heard him, yeah. And he was just basically just reached over him, itched his butt, and then came back. But all the pipsqueak were all, yeah, we got him. It was these little ants. It's kind of like that. Like you have one of the smartest men in the world who hires the smartest people, majority of the time, the smartest people, and they're really good at their craft. And yeah, you were giving them run for their money, but I would say that from an Elon's perspective, I can't say that you were all that a bag of chips. I mean, I could still go on to like. X. I could still check out a bunch of stuff. It just made it really slow, and I thought that was really interesting. Like, okay, like, you can definitely tell that you're bogging the system down, but, I wonder how many people are sitting there going, "Can we give that a victory?"
These
Like,
anti-Elon people they're really whacked in the head. They really we
dog,
need to spend more money on mental health in the United States and around the world, and more mental than they say, "Why are you fixated on a billionaire that's invented all this cool stuff?"
yeah,
"Well, he's wrecking the earth. He's doing this." No, he's gonna take us to Mars. He's inventing all these new technologies. He's curing
dog,
blindness.
telepathy, bro.
He's like Thomas
Just
fucking Edison.
patent telepathy, bro. She's literally going to allow people to enable a device where I can communicate with you in a manner.
I know.
Like, dog, how dope is that? Like, my hope is this. All the people who have major issues and problems, right, with this, I'm like, just try out the Neuralink. Just try it out. Because supposedly it's supposed to help out and balance the chemical imbalances in your brain, right? And help you kind of see things logically without just flaming out. I mean, I was talking to my friend. Like I said, I went to New York, and he's the common sense liberal.
Oh, yeah?
And I said, and yeah, and so we were driving, and I said to him, I said, "Hey, quick question for you. I kind of like this, but because he's been, we were in New York, and the there's a big there's a big protest against anything Tesla. We were talking about that earlier, and a little off air. And basically, everybody can see this. Like, people are attacking Tesla vehicles in deep blue areas, and
Crazy.
what I found, yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I said, it almost reminds me of, like, and it's getting to the point where people are taking rocks and throwing it at Tesla trucks and cars that are just at stop signs, right? Like, it's absolutely kind of scary. It's like, holy shit, like, what is going on? And and part of me almost feels like this reminds me of when you have the far right guys going in and trying to blow up um, abortion clinics. It's like the same shit.
The
It's like,
sickness.
yeah, it's like, and it's getting feverish. It's like, y'all are too left and too right. Y'all need to chill. I'm scared, bro, that the far right, like gun dudes, are gonna be like, Billy, we need to go and handle business here.
You know what? I
Yeah.
did know one person who on the surface, was seemingly quite normal and incredibly smart. Lawyer, very good lawyer, very well respected. But when you get to talking with him, especially after he'd had just one beer to kinda lower the filter a little bit, all of a sudden you'd just see weird things start happening in his speech, and you could see he's one of those guys, all of a sudden he'd be fixated, and then you'd be talking about, I'm just gonna make something up, and he'd be you're saying, "And so, I was riding my bicycle the other day and, kinda ran over a rock," and he'd, like, all of a sudden look at you and go, "Yeah, but Trump did this." And you're like, "Wait a minute, we were just having a 5-minute conversation about bike riding." And he would get all animated about it, and he couldn't wait to get the words out of his mouth. They had to come out right now. And he would get very angry at, like, if he was he's not alive now. Um, if he were here today, he would be one of these people that would be anti-Elon, anti-Trump, and all that. Not from because he something bad happened to him from them, but it would be a to be fixated on. And that's what it seems like a lot of these people with um, these the people that just run out in the street and start banging on cars. I mean, the one guy banged on the Tesla window. If he had hit it with his ring and damaged it, I think it's an $8,000 window because it's bullet resistant.
Well, I mean, that ain't gonna do it. Like, here's the
No, but
thing.
no, it's still. I mean, I did this for 27 years.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
still
yeah, you got
glass. It's just thick glass. It still cracks or damages. You can damage it with your damage
oh,
it
really?
with anything. But it's like, eh.
That's
All
kind of
right.
crazy, bro. It's crazy. I feel like the world we're living in, people aren't listening like just to logic, man, and it's scary. Like this guy is just trying to help. I mean, look, dude, he's literally lowering. And the part that's so weird to me is that they're calling him an oligarchy, but he's like, what is he doing that is like really bad? Like you're saying he has a discretion of impropriety. Like, but here's the thing. Like people who are central left, central, like they're and then you have central right. When you would talk about Biden, there were actual real things that were happening, with the laptop. There was real indiscretion that were happening with him and the Ukraine war and real connections. We have him with on the phone talking to leaders. There's a lot of things that you can sit there and point to and go, this guy is doing horrible. Like there are real indiscretions here in relationship to what we're seeing with Elon Musk. Like this man just trying to make sure that we don't kill ourselves. Like he just wants to make sure that we are a biplanetarian species, and he's doing some dope stuff that's going to allow if people will simply just go through. And I mean this, like, I hope people are willing to open and try a form of the neural mesh.
It's gonna be
Like,
it'll be just one of those coolest things ever. God forbid you leave that shit on when you walk by a hot girl. Oh man.
oh, dear God, dear. Oh, dear Lord.
Be like, oh, my
Guys,
inner monologue must be on. Oops, sorry there. Or
well,
a person that you find unattractive, who's with someone that thinks is attractive. You know,
he's your
so if
friend.
I mean, imagine the fight. You thought about a woman. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. You thought about you. You thought her butt was too fat. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. I can hear it in your brain right now. Damn it, I left that on again.
Dog, dog, that's the part that's gonna be crazy. There's gonna have to be some real grace, but also the communication ability to be able to understand somebody. I'm actually gonna really enjoy that, right? Like, how many times have you sat down with your wife? And I can't. I mean, I never had a wife, but you've had three, and
I'm keeping up the average.
yeah, you can. And I have a lot of friends who've had multiple wives, right? And it was real interesting is that they go through, and then one of the biggest thing they always say is, "I just can't understand her. I don't get her at all." We're talking about this, and we don't under. And he's like, "We're talking about this. Here's the logical steps. I've walked it through." And her biggest complaint is, "You're not fully listening to me." Like, I hope that right there is able to, like you said, like you're like, "Woman, I have literally read your brain."
Hold
Like,
on, let me play it back. And take the trash out, and do this, and do that, and do this.
right, right, right. Honeydew list. I just think it's real interesting to see what's
I
happening.
heard Elon. I guess we're going off on too many tangents today, but it's a cool
Way
topic.
tangent. No, so way tangents. Go
I
ahead.
heard Elon talking about this. He said, I, it took me a while to figure out one of the greatest limitations of the human
Right.
experience in evolution. One of the biggest failures of the human evolution is our speech. And I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, that's the greatest thing ever.
No.
And so as I'm
It's
watching
eating.
this thing, he says it evolved, so we have to speak slowly. He said our bit rate is 1 bit per second or whatever it was. He said that's a slow transfer of information. He said and he was talking about the cure and blindness thing with the implant in the head and all that, and the Neuralink. He said we're starting the ability to be able to, understand what the brain wants to say. And he said soon we're going to be able to communicate with other people
At a
with the
faster
Neuralink thing at a much faster rate. So you'll be able to have conversations with someone else who has it at 2 times the speed. Or he said, and then we'll iterate it again. It'll be 5 times. And he said, as the resolution gets better, just of the anti. He said, just think though the blind thing. I can't remember what he called it. He said, eventually that's going to be able to be two-way. He said, not only will we be able to
shit.
take in and make blind people see, uh, but you'll be able to use those to speak to other people with the same device. So he said the conversation speed will pick up as we get better at it.
So
And
you're
he said,
saying,
obviously, the human brain will have to learn. And he said the human brain will likely learn a new language too to communicate with people.
yeah,
You know?
shorthand.
Yeah,
There'll be
exactly.
shorthand. Yeah, just like it's almost like when you first time you ever when you start to serve food at a restaurant, right? And you've got 50 tables, right? And you're like, shit. Or you're just like, dang, I gotta get this thing, right? So what do? All right, chicken parm, CHNPAR, right? Boom. And it's gonna be real interesting because as we start to really interface with, all right, I need to learn and read these things. Right now, it takes me, and I read fast, man. So, like, when it comes to like literature, my ability to be able to retain information, I- because the more information you get, right, that you kind of jumble up sometimes, especially if you read like 7 or 8 articles in a row within like a 30-minute period, like you'll go through and a lot of times you'll just be like, okay, so you got to make sure you write those notes. It's going to be really interesting to see as we start to pull in that information, go through it, that what macro and micro new, what's the word I want to use? A synthesis, or what's that word? Will be created in your head so that you can shorthand stuff and then partition it away. I think, dude, I wouldn't be shocked if we start to develop a fourth part of the brain, like a new part of the brain that starts to develop to actually handle that.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I believe that there's a part of the brain that actually tells the body this we're lacking the ability to do this. Figure out something how to do it, and and it'll
There is
say I'm processing all this other information.
called the reticulate. What happens is your brain basically gets frustrated. Long story short, and the frustration then tells the part of the brain, "Hey, we're getting frustrated. We don't like this discomfort. Let's figure this out." And then what happens is the brain goes, "Okay, cool." And then so it tells the subconscious brain, "Pick it up." And then it takes it, works it out, and then it brings it to the uncon, or it goes from the subconscious, or wait, excuse me, the unconscious to the subconscious,
Mike'ster,
and
I
the
think you're
subconscious
behind a few
works it out.
minutes.
Yeah, and then it breaks, it cuts through, boom, 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 and then after that, it starts to pick up again, and then it goes to the front part of the brain. That's when sometimes you'll wake up and go, "Oh, that's the idea,"
That's not what I
because
was talking about. I'm talking about like there's something in the brain that says we need 2 arms, and so it says, all right, we need to grow 2 arms over a couple thousand years or whatever. Or
okay,
it says these new people now they've learned how to take this juice and turn it into methanol and ethanol, and they're putting it in the body. Well, we need a liver. You need to be able to filter that, and so the body figures out. It's not just. I don't believe it's random, just totally random mutations of the DNA over time.
it
I
could
believe part of the brain says we need this, and it causes it.
it could also just be God too. It
I'm
could be
not on
one
that
that
train.
it don't matter. I don't care if you
It
are.
could
And
be.
that
You're right. It could be. That's
could be,
you're
dude.
absolutely right.
And what God? I believe it's Yahweh Elohim, the God of the Bible. But
Ooh.
hey, everybody's different. So we just saw a drop in Rumble. Did
Oh
you see
yeah, it
that?
just literally went from 23 to 8.
Like literally overnight. People were like, deuces, talking religion. Anyhow, so let's jump back to Bitcoin here real quick, and then we can I say,
Wow,
are you
that
gonna
was
enter?
something.
Yeah, go figure, right? So let's go ahead and figure here real quick. Because we were talking about, honestly, because a lot of people there are more right. So the religious, we're talking about the evolution of things, and it's probably what it is. So um let's talk about Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin is basically kind of consolidating here. We're seeing this. We talked about this yesterday, coming down here. We should see it come back down, pop up, and go up. It kind of held, and there was a lot of stops right here. I talked about this. I thought we would see more of a sell off and then push back up, but buyers came in. And so the reason why they're coming in, because you have a lot of stops here that were long. So those stops are shorts. And so what happens with shorts? How do they get absorbed? With buyers. So you have the buyers that came in, boom. And we talked about this yesterday off air, right? I said expect it to continue down because you're in that short. And I said to him, I said, look, just make sure that was it here? No, that was 100. Let me make sure I have this in the correct time period. Okay. So that'd be 2 o'clock, 1400. Yeah, so it was right here. And you went short up here, right? Back at 11. Um,
I was long. I was long.
no, yesterday. I'm talking
Oh yeah.
yesterday. Yeah, so you were short. We pulled back up and then we sold off again. It was about right here. So I told you be careful for the pullback. Boom. So we came back, sold through. And because of this, these are buyers seen here. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is now watch the market. We've seen it go up overnight into evening open here, right? With the Asian Open, we saw it go up. Boom. Then we saw London come and bring it back down. The American Open is taking it up again. But you can see we're not seeing. Look at the volumes here. When we were taking the shorts, right? Look at the amount of shorts that were coming in. See the amount of shorts,
Yep.
right? Like these are a lot of sellers coming in, and but if you look at it, there's not necessarily a lot of buyers. So that's why. And if you look here, we talked about this yesterday. As we're moving up here, look, what do we notice primarily? I'm gonna just circle this.
We you know what we noticed here, Pedro? This
What do you notice?
hold on a sec. We noticed right where I'm pointing here.
Hmm.
This is the classic camel toe pattern. Oh, ba dum bump, doo 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 doo. Boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna give myself a holler on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, why can't I hear
All
that?
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
nobody heard that.
Yeah.
Let's try that
Um,
again.
all right. So let's just. We got music
Oh,
now.
no, I forgot to stop the music. But where's my holler? Holla, holla, holla. Oh, voice isn't
Yeah.
working.
All right. So you can see right here. By the way, did you post on Rumble? Let them know on Twitter, or on Twitter, but on X.
Hold on, I got to answer a question from Justin on.
On. All right. So while Tom is doing that, let's just talk this out here. Move to the right a little, Tom.
Oh, sorry, I left myself on big.
You're all right. All right. So you
Oops.
can see here real quick that this area here. Look, more stellar wicks. You can see here at the bottom here, not a lot of buy wicks. So as we're pushing up, we're seeing more of a seller wick, and you see at a low point here where it was selling off, we saw more greater sell volume than buy volume for these stops. So they would take the stops that were coming in, they would meet them, and then allow more shorts to step in, right, as we were coming down. And so they're trying to fill up their shorts. They let it go in as it's going up. Institution, I'm teaching you guys here, so I want you guys to pay attention to this as it is moving up, you can see here that you can see these seller like there's not a lot of demand wicks here. Look, a little bit right here, a little bit right here, but look, you have as many supply wicks, that's the seller wicks, that and more than you actually have demand wicks. And look, as we're moving up, you can see either you really have a small one, but then come up to the top, it sells off. And what that is that's a rope a dope going on here. That's a classic rope a dope. And so they're pushing it up, tiring out the buyers while filling up their short positions. And so we see then at the opening of the market, we see it sell off. Okay. Then from there, we see it push up. But what do we notice here? You notice there's not really a lot of demand wicks, and you see more top wicks up here. So I expect it to go back down here for Bitcoin. Hence, it's going to come back down until we get again down to that 76,000, 75, 74,000. This is the next batch of liquidity that we're going to come to, which is going to be that 75, 74,000. Okay. What we want to see if we could flip it, I'm going to see if I can flip it here. One thing I love about this is I can actually flip the chart. Flip. What we want to see is this. We want to see as it's coming down, we want to see demand wicks. Okay. Remember, this is not the correct thing. Um, I'm going to flip it here. This is the correct market. Look right here. As we're moving up, you see how there's a lot of sellers and not a lot of buyers here? Okay. It's the same thing here, right? We're pushing up, right, at the very beginning. But then you could notice here, as soon as they hit that 50 period moving average, it's sold off and it's kind of doing a similar situation. So that's what I want to see. I want to see something like this, but continue throughout the whole entire trading menu or the trading range, right? And then that shows me that they're willing to go ahead and outlay money for the continuation of that trend, but they're not. It's just we're gonna push it up to bring in buyers so that they can sell them to each other. And it's a beautiful thing as a trader because for me, I could sit there and go, oh, they're gonna drop this market. Where's the most continuous market here that I can sit there and look at? Right. Now obviously that's the hour chart there. But in the same sense, you can sit there and see this. Come on, right? As we're moving up, there's not a lot of demand wicks here. You see more supply wicks here, and so I'm expecting to come down. So I'm gonna wait for the 8 and 20 crossover, right? And then I'm gonna short it up at these levels here at 81,000 area, and then I want to capture it coming down all the way to here, right? My first target is most likely going to be the 200 period on the 5 minute. Okay, it's going to be 80,000. It's going to be a nice 1-to-1 ratio. My stop's going to be above here, and I would hit short right now. Go long, go short. So you can see we've got a pretty good distance to come down until we hit that 79,000. First target again is going to be around that 80,000. Okay.
Hmm.
80,500. And then the other one's going to be down at the 79,000, 300, 400 potentially, right? And then you can just let it run, let it have a runner. Remember, at this level, I would take out about 60 to 70% of your trade, okay? So that you can make sure you have good amount. And your stop is going to be up here. Okay. So you would go short right up in this level and then see it come down to here. So that's it in a nutshell. It's not, it's kind of it's right there. You can see it. It's like
If
right
you
in your
were
face.
if you were a pattern trader, it would look like it was forming a head and shoulders on that last thing, and it was just getting ready to form that right shoulder, and then dumpity dump dump dump.
So kind of like right here.
Yeah, and as it's coming back up, it'll make the yeah, and then pew.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely not that guy. I'm not a patterns trader because they mess with people. But it's pretty clear from like how I trade that we're getting ready to come down literally because of the supply wicks and the demand wicks. Most people don't look at that. And so these patterns here have been proven, but they could create these patterns. But to create the amount of money that takes left like real money, right? Leftover money but that you're gonna leave in the market, not just trade incrementally, is based in the wicks. And so those are the ones. I mean, you can look at wick theory. Um, uh, week. I have a modified wick theory in my my own trading. But yeah, it's real important for you to understand that, right? So that you don't get caught up in one over the other. Dang, bro, it literally went from 20 plus to 4. What it
What
was
do you mean 20 plus to 4?
on Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
Oop, hold on. My camera froze there while I was. Oop, come on. Come on, exploit broadcaster, do your thing.
All right, well, it's Technical Tuesday, so we probably should start going over it. So we've already just jibber jabbered here for almost an hour. So let's check out the S&P 500, and we can go through this here real quick. So S&P 500, we talked about it coming back down to these levels here of the 545 or the 5,040 450 area here to that 5530 area. And then after that, but I do expect to see at least tap that average, which is basically that 52 74 area on the S&P 500. You can sit there and see it. It's pretty clear. I was and I'm excited about this because that trade is going really well. I have a friend of mine who's short since on the Nasdaq. I think since right here across the pullback of the eight. I think it was either the on the 3rd of March. I think it was, yeah. 'Cause I think he got out either here or here, either this green day when it pulled up
Mhm.
or this green day. I forget which
Mm.
one he went. But he's been short here this whole entire trade. I'm like, nice, dude. He's got like 10 contracts. So it's a pretty good amount of money. Um, and then the other one here that we've been talking about now is the NASDAQ. And as the NASDAQ is turning over, we can sit there and see that it's almost at a accelerated pace here comparative to the market or the S&P 500, which is more of a broad-based macro market indicator. So you can see here now we're coming down here to that 18,398 area, and I'm expecting us to see it come down and continue. So as it's coming down, I've talked about us coming down to the $10,000 area here on the stock on the Nasdaq here. You can see here that's that 80. What is that? The eight. Sorry, that is the $10,406 mark one. And then I was actually really shocked when what was it, this one? Yeah, the yearly 8 on this is a 12-month every year. This is you can see every time we've hit that 8. And so we're gonna see either a $13,000 mark bump bump. And 4 years ago we hit it back there to a T, man. This was in 2020. We sold off and hit it. So we got a couple marks here. We can either hit that 14,000 or 14,031 on the NASI, or we can tap that 10,000. So it all depends on what it's going to do there. But it has been really interesting to sit there and look at the pullbacks and see where they go to. And so this one's been it's a long time coming. Since it was a 4-year pullback. So this is one, yep, one, two, three. So this one is people have been talking about a major sell-off here. It's the same thing with the NAS or with the S&P 500. People have been talking about that $6,000 mark, $6 to $7,000. They call it the melt up. And so we've been watching this actually really interesting to see the sell-off. And in that happening, as we've melted up, we're pulling back down. So I think the first place we're going to see some big, big, big buying coming in is going to be that 4,200 on the S&P 500. And so, and along with the other ones, going to be the Nasdaq sitting around that 14,000 on the yearly chart. So we're looking at how far could this potentially go. I think we're going to see a potential pullbacks down to there. I think it's going to be more of a flash crash. I think it's going to hurt the stock market. It will hurt the rich people. I don't think it's going to hurt the poor people because most people didn't have the dry capital or the dry powder to actually invest money into the stock market. So
Well,
if
you
we,
know who it's hurting right now? Our friend Jesus, the Lord and Savior. All my crypto is bleeding, he says. Yeah, well, that's what happens in a market drawdown. All your stuff bleeds to death.
yeah, that's what happened. But it's good. I look, I
Hold
keep
up.
talking. I'm showing you guys where to buy, right? And then we see it come back down, right? You guys who watched me now for about 2 years on here, many of you have been able to take. We have one guy who went on a full vacation. What was it like for 2 weeks, three
Dar
weeks?
baby.
Yeah, Darbable went on a vacation on one of the trades that we gave him. Was it the crude or which one was it? I don't I forget exactly which one it was. but he got, he made a big chunk, and he's like, "I'm going on vacation. Me and my
It
wife
was
take
like
a big."
AVAX or Algo or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He took. Yep. Yep. So I'm stoked for him for that. But again, we're seeing a lot of our stuff kind of starting to, flow exactly what we want. Let's check out. Actually, the Japanese yen has been just on a. Here we go. They were just, bro. They were getting killed. I mean, killed last year, bro. Bah! Now we're watching it push up. Many of the currencies have been going up, except for Canadian, right? What's the CAD doing? I should really. Futures, there you are. Yeah, cat has been just getting decimated, bro. Like, like over the last like couple of weeks, bro. But just if you look at it, your guys' dollar man has just been.
Yeah, what is the rate now anyway?
I don't know, but they're at
I mean, what's
68.
yeah, that's its lows there. That's
Well,
68 is
the
I've
low.
done business here when it was 82 American cents to the Canadian dollar, and it was advantageous to me when it went to that. It was really nice.
Yeah, well, if you look at the USD, right? Look at the USD. We've talked about us coming and seeing a little bit of a bounce off of that 104, but man, the bounce barely on this day came up. But man, look, it's just been selling off. They tried holding it, but this thing is going to fall through here. So the next space here on the dollar is the 100, right? So that $100 mark, man. So if anybody is in the short on the dollar, you guys are kicking butt. So congrats on that. And additionally to that, it's picking up steam here. So now we're gonna again start to see we've got nothing but a free falling and a free falling. Um, anyways, okay. Enough with the
And it's
beating
kind
of
of
the
good. It's kind of good for us right now in the
it's
market that we're
very
in.
good
The
for
dollar was
us.
getting too strong, and a lot of people that don't know a lot about how international, I shouldn't say international, foreign currency works and foreign exchange. Sometimes the word strong means good. In fact, most of the time, strong means good. And in currency trading and foreign currencies and the strength of your fiat, strong is generally pretty good. But there are times when strong is too strong. It's
Well,
too strong, and there kind of becomes an imbalance in what our currency is worth, the U.S. dollar versus other people. And it on one side it makes things too expensive, uh, and the other side it makes things too cheap, and then it throws off economic balances. And it also has a big deal what to do with interest rates here and inflation and all that type of stuff. The value of our outstanding debt. Um, the cheaper this thing comes down against foreign currencies, and the more
cost the bear debt.
yeah, it's also likely that bond prices will go up, or bond prices will go up, yields will come down, and we'll be able to refinance our debt. We have $7 trillion of debt coming up for refinance in the next 6 months. So the lower the yield, the Fed drops the rates, cheaper the refinance rate's going to be for us.
But also more importantly, and I think this is super important to pay attention to, is that if you're doing businesses in a country, and let's say, and one of the the best countries you can do business with for quality wise is America. We create really, really good products and we do a good job at it. The issue has been, and this is why there's been a tariff, is that when American goods come into your native country, right? You will want, and if it's fairly equal, if you had to pick between American or most countries, right, that where they live, they're going to want to pick American because our quality is at a high standard, right? Because we have all of these regulations that we have to follow,
And we have the
and we
Trial Lawyers Association.
who will come
Which
after you if
you
something
make something bad, they'll come right after you.
with a quickness. So it's you've got to follow certain rules and you got to make sure it's good quality. So when that good quality same product comes into your country, you're gonna sit there and say, well, they're about the same price. I'm gonna go for the better quality because you know it's gonna last longer and you'll get the best duration from it. On the back end, it hurts your native economy. Well, now, and in particular, the US dollar has always been kind of going up. But now that, and we talked about this for Trump's initiative that he's trying to do with corporations, as well as bringing jobs here into America and for industry to do business in America, we needed the dollar to go down. I made it very clear around in December here, right? That I said we should see the dollar go down because Trump wants to do business here. And sure enough, we're watching this come down. Now, what's most important is this is as this is coming down into our area here, okay, Trump has shoot, I'm pointing out the seller wicks here. So and I just realized what I was doing. I'm doing again.
Drawing a skinny
You,
penis.
yeah, you can see here that we have seller wicks, right? Seller wicks. And every one of these pullbacks we've talked about, look, or even this one right here, I said, I don't trust this pull up. Get ready to go short off of these levels because we don't have any demand wicks on our daily wick here, which this is a daily zone. You should have daily wicks. And so if you look right here, how many daily wicks do we see? How many daily demand wicks? We don't see a lot, right? Small ones here, right? So in the same sense, I'm expecting this from this point on. Actually, you know what? I just learned this. So from here, and then from this point on, oh, I
Jesus
just
is
did.
he's waiting. He's waiting for the drawing. He knows it's coming.
What's he waiting for?
He he knows it's coming. Here's the shaft being drawn.
No, I'm not even close. See now, you got me, dude. You got me. Right, here you go. And here, like, this is kind of the line in the sand here. After this point on, there's nothing here, literally nothing. And then you have, look at that, I changed it up on you. So that was the line in the sand, and we're coming up to it. Freaking A. But you can see here that you have pretty much no demand wicks here at these levels, right? You can see that this thing could come down to here real easy. Real easy. So, and then this is where I'm like, this is good for America because you'll want to do business and buy your goods and services. I do not care how much you refuse to do business and how stubborn you want to be. If your baby girl or somebody is wanting food or something, and one product is cheaper for you, you're
Mhm.
going to buy it because you're probably going to go so far when your children want something.
Ultimately, everything comes down to money. People make
Yeah.
decisions based on money, and even over quality. If they think, and I'm guilty of this, and everyone in this that's watching is that I'm going to buy the cheaper thing from Walmart, even though I know it's not going to last, because I only am valuing it in my mind that it's going to last for a year or two.
Yep.
You don't go and buy the cheapest refrigerator at the worst possible place, an off brand. If you're saying this one needs to last 40 years, you say, I'm putting in this house. I'm going to move in 2 years. I don't care. So you buy the cheap stuff. You buy the cheap stuff. Pedro, I'm going to do a quick experiment here, and I need your help with it. I'm going
Okay.
to I'm going to test something out. Then we'll come back to the market here. Pedro, before the show, we were talking about. Did you hear what's going on? Let me get the right screen here. Hear what's going on with that group called Act Blue.
A little bit. I've heard a little bit about what's going on with it.
Uh, uh, for those of you who don't know, Act Blue is a big fundraising arm for the Democratic Party, and they've been raising a lot of money and putting out kind of not so nice social media campaigns against well, every Republican, but now especially Mr. Trump and Mr. Musk and crew and Doge, and using it to complain and all that. Well, a lot of the new filings came out, and now with AI can rip through these filings on who's donated much faster than humans could or regular database searches. and it can pick out patterns and just say, and it can do it proactively in the background. It doesn't have to. It can just say, "Boop! I've noticed something weird." Well, it booped and noticed something weird. One of the things that it pointed out was that the the Republicans do not raise money as well grassroots as the Democrats
Democrats.
do. They have tons and tons of small contributions, which is the grassroots holy grail of everything. Uh, but apparently, it sussed out a problem in the John Testerman uh, election for Senate or House of Representatives. I don't know, whatever it was. The Democrats outspent the Republicans a bazillion, but Testerman smoked them, right? And it turns out, once the data came out, a whole bunch of people had been registered in Act Blue as making little donations. And apparently, so the Republican Party said, let's go check this out. Kind of weird patterns here. And just went to a guy's house, knocked on the door, and said, hey, did you donate 322 times to Act Blue? He's like, no, don't ever do. I don't ever. I donated once like 20 years ago to something. And they're like, really? Okay, thank you. And now they're doing that to all the multiple things, and there's a big pattern. And all the executives from Act Blue have now resigned.
Bro, no, look, it was time for their time to retire,
Right, it
okay?
was right.
They just did not
Moved
decide.
on,
Listen,
spend more time
they
with their family.
they realized that, you know what, this whole entire craziness going on in America, they just wanted to step back. And it just happened to coincide with what's happening with AI and finding out their
Mm.
business. But you can't listen, just because you have causation doesn't it, or just because you have correlation does not mean causation. Okay.
Right. But that's true. However, the U.S.
But there's
attorney
more.
doesn't really see it that way. The U.S. attorney sees it like, time to put all these dudes to the point. Apparently, there's some problems with that, and the Republican Party is. When I heard that the Republican Party was investigating it, I thought it was like, okay,
They're just
they're
going
going to
after it.
investigate
Yeah.
everyone and just make life hell for the Democrats more than it already is.
No, this
But
was
then when I saw what happened, I was like, ooh, a real scandal. This is good. This is going to put the Democratic Party even further on the skids.
well, here's the thing though. They have extremely far leftist ideology and they have crazies. And they have about 1,000,000 of those. You know how big our military is?
Yes, it's huge.
Well, not so much. We've actually had a huge bump in people joining me since Trump has been in
I
office, which
noticed that. I did notice that.
so I actually went and checked my buddy because like friends of mine who's still in, and I said, "Yo, do you guys see a bump?" And he goes, "Dude, we're starting to get a ton of people coming in." And I go, "Really?" And listen, I'm in the Coast Guard. I'm thinking, it's a lot of my friends are in the Coast Guard. I have a few friends of mine are in the Army and Marines, right? And as I always say, hey, we save lives, we don't take them, but we're all still part of the same team. Anyways, so sorry, dude, I just had to. But the thing is here though, in the as they were telling me this, they're like, yeah, we're actually seeing a bump in military. So on the back end, I sat there and I said, you know what's interesting is people didn't want to join. Huge push for the military back then, and dude, the army was struggling, bro,
Yeah, I heard about
struggling.
their problems with that.
Dude, I was in the fair last summer, no joke, and the army always has the pull up bar with the Marines. And so I was like, "Oh, let me go see if I can do how many pull-ups." So the guy looks at me and he laughs. He goes, "Good luck with one." I go, "Bro," right? Because I got a big old belly. I said, "Bro," I said, "I can at least get 5 up." He goes, "I'll give you $10 if you can do 3." Then I said, "Bro, make it 25, 30, and after that, everyone I do after 5, you gotta pay me $10." And now he's looking at me going like,
I wouldn't take that bet.
yeah, 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 right. And so I jumped, and so he's kind of quiet, and I said, "All right, I'll take the 30 or 25." So bam, bam, because I do push-ups, I do pull-ups and push-ups every day. I might be fat, but yo, I can move. You see me, right? I got
Yeah.
a lot of muscle. So I pull him up. So he looks at me, goes, "It's too bad you're too old." And I go, "Why? What does that mean?" I was like, "What's that mean?" I go, "I'm 45." I go, "But," and he goes, "Any ex-military?" I go, "Yeah, I served like 10 years, 9.5 years, 10 years." He goes, "Oh, dude, I can get you right on then." And I go, "Wait, I thought it was like 2029 is the with the thing." He goes, "No, bro, I'll take you because you get added 10 years. And so that 29 goes to 39, but then I can have you have service time." And I go, "Bro, I am almost 50 years old. How are you going to get me on?" He goes, "Dude, we're hurting so bad for numbers, they would take you." And I was like, "That's crazy." Like, it's crazy. That was last summer.
That's when you go, okay, let's say about 180K a year, 5 weeks vacation, personal days off, and then he looks at you like, can't do
Right.
it. All right,
Yeah,
see ya.
yeah, right. Like, if I wanna go to New York for the day, I'm just gonna go and bounce, like, "Have a good day, dude." Right? 30%, uh, yeah, it's just one of those
All right,
things
my
that
my little experiment didn't work. I was hoping that the Rumble analog or algorithm would be listening to us and say,
yeah,
"Ooh, they're beating up on Democrats and promoting
yeah,
Republicans. Let's promote it." And then
yeah, it
we only
didn't.
went from 6 to 8.
It
Anyway,
didn't,
thank you, Rumblers, for joining us. We really appreciate it. We've had a good
yeah,
crew of you
everyone.
today. Click
Absolutely.
that like button.
Yeah, hit the thumbs up. That
Hit that
helps us a
like
lot.
button. Remember, you don't need to if you don't have an account, you don't need to pay Rumble to have an account. It's pay is for the premium account, but you can join. And when you join, you know what you can do? You can hit the like button. That's right.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can hit
yeah.
the like button. And actually, you know what I did? The people at Rumble got back to me. I complained about how our show ended yesterday. Well, I didn't
Yeah.
complain. I just asked nicely. I said, "Hey, do you guys have problems?" And they run their own server system. They don't rely on Google or Amazon for cloud service and video service. And the Rumble Cloud, they said we did have some trouble about the same time that X had trouble. That's all
Really?
they said to me. So
Wow. So you're saying they were alright, that makes sense.
right,
That makes complete sense because they're going after all the
right.
right-leaning thought processing. So that makes complete sense. Wow, man, they're really trying hard to shut down. That means, in all honesty, that's gotta mean it's actually making a pretty good dent. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, the actual, like, open free media is actually doing really good. Stay strong, people. Yeah, man, stay strong. We just keep just telling the truth. Like, just keep telling the truth. That's all you gotta do. Like, don't and if and our goal is that our friends, our friends come back to the right? Like, that's our goal, is that we can see the center populated again, and so that we can see real policy, because there are going to be times where people are too right, like meaning, all right, they want to shrink government, they want to do all this stuff. And it's like, okay, we've gone too far. Like, we're hurting. There are people that are really hurting on the fringe that really need us, right? And our friends who are blues, again, they are our friends. They're not against us. I think they have good hearts. But there's a fine balance of having your child as your friend and you being his parent or her parent or
right,
they parent, right? And so this is kind of like how we went too far to the blue or to the left. Let's not swing so far to the right where all of a sudden we pendulum and see it go. And I'm pulling this actually from I don't know if you guys listen to him, but it's called Impact Theory with Tom Bailu. He does things. I really like his podcast because he gives a good balance of just the blue, the red, the fringe, the people who are outside of the system and look at things. So I really like him a lot because he talks about some dope stuff. And he says, my biggest fear is that we keep swinging from the far left and then the far right and the far left. And you get whiplash, man. People just get to the point where they just like, I'm out. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Right? It's almost like traders for degen. They're degenic, right? Like it's too much. They can't handle it as much, right? And people just they just basically say, "I'm done in peace," and then no change happens. So it's like we got to bring a nice little balance. So remember, guys, enemies, okay, they're our friends, and let's work with them. And because ultimately, we don't want to go too far to the right. That's when you get craziness also ensuing from there. Center is good. Um, Jumping back to crude oil. Again, we're gonna jump back to crude oil here, but I want to talk back about. I want you to finish off your thought process when it comes to that circumstance and situation. Crude oil, we're seeing it come back down. We're seeing it bounce off of the 8 period moving average here. You can see here that we're seeing a slowdown in the actual buyers, so it's going to continue down. You can see it's pretty clear. So I'm looking at, I'm waiting for that to happen. Now, if you look at the GC GCJ 2024, this is contract specific for gold here. And so I'm bringing this up here real quick. Daily. We're seeing the daily contract for J starting to kind of turn up. No, it wasn't J. What was it? J. I forget what it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been running. Oops, I got this in the wrong spot here. I've been running ads here, not ads, but um, pictures here. I have a QR code for BidFi, our sponsor here. Make sure you click that and join up with BidFi. If you want to trade, learn to go long and short, Pedro and I will help teach you do that. Listen to the show. QR code's also below me right here. Click at any time. Start an account with BidFi. Get some free monies. Get some free monies. Get $100 in USDT to trade with. And with the money they give you, any of the profits that you earn, you can pull it out. Also, great demo trading. Let's talk the demo trading here real quick, Pedro. Where is that? Here, they've got a great demo trading account. You can learn. You can come and ask questions of Pedro and I, and use a demo account in which you get free money, and of course the losses are free and the gains are free. But it's a great place to learn, and I suggest all of you learn on a demo account before risking your own money. And then when you do start risking your own money, you start really small, like I am. But BidFi, ladies and gentlemen, our central exchange sponsor. They've been good to us, so we'd like you to be good to them.
Definitely, definitely. All right, so let's check out gold. So gold is hitting some areas here. I'm expecting us to potentially push up and get above what we were at. I think my goal for this year is actually potentially seeing gold at 3,300, or excuse me, 33. Yeah, yeah, 3,300. I'm sorry. And so that's what I'm expecting us to see gold at. Um, on the back end, that means that I'm expecting major volatility to start happening in the traditional markets, which is already starting to happen. We talked about our this area right here a while back ago, but I think I drew this 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. But I had to mention that I expect us to see gold touch that 33. So we're seeing volume step back in again today. You up now on the back end, we're watching a few like dude. Copper, bro, has been just pushing up with the turmoil and what's actually happening a lot with what we call tariffs, right? This is again affected. I don't know in detail how it is, but I know that every time there's a tariff situation or something like that, that this goes up. So partly if you if you're looking to hedge and against the tariffs, look to potentially be playing this as a move, but I'm expecting us to see it push up. You'll see some type of resistance again at this level here, but ultimately, like this thing, I think if it gets through this $5 mark area, 519 to the 511, this is going to have a major factor when it comes to um,
What are you looking at,
maybe,
copper?
yeah, it says Kappa. Get over here, Kappa. Freaking Kappas. Um,
Oh,
from
this system's
Boston over
running
here.
slow again. Oh,
It's all
I
good.
can't wait to get a new computer.
It's coming. Save up with the trading winnings. All you need is about 1,500
Except
compounded
that's not
interest.
the computer I want. computer I'm
Oh, you
on.
want the 1001.
I want the $4,000 one with the new 5000 series.
Yeah. Well, it's not that hard.
What
As long
the
as
problem is, Pedro, is that a full year ago, I was on the edge of buying a new computer, but didn't because of various needs like children. And I wanted to be able to start using the Unreal software to broadcast our show and
yeah.
have a more cooler graphics and all that. But the computer wasn't up to it. So I waited about 6 months later. I'm like, okay, I think I might get ready to pull the trigger to do this. Well, they updated Unreal, and now you need an even better computer. Well, I'm half a cycle behind. So I get somebody to jump ahead of the cycle. They're like, oh yeah, that's one we recommended last year. That won't really work that well for live.
Well, it's good to know now because if you had waited and bought that,
Yeah, right. It was
then
actually
you'd be
fortuitous.
stuck. Yeah. It was like God was looking out for you, bro. You didn't realize it.
Ooh,
Um,
my long just popped. I just won $12. I am gonna close that out.
hold you're going short or long?
I was long.
Oh, yeah.
Um, when it bounced back off the 200 SMA on the 1 minute chart, and I said, all right, so put a little bit of margin in there, got $12 out of it.
Alrighty, dude. There you go. I'm still hesitant to go long on these, but that was a good amount of volume coming in. So on that long, what time is it? Oh, it's top of the hour. That's why. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Um, okay. So boom, yeah, I'd expect it to go down here. That was smart, man.
Did the
Smart, smart.
ES pop? Is that why?
I don't know, but it typically remember I told you that the market typically moves at the top of the hours.
Actually, I
So
did not know that.
oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's a big deal, buddy. Understanding. We'll talk about that later offline.
Oh
Um,
no, the ES is still in the shitter. Oh, I sorry, I got the daily chart up. I don't think I told let you know that I finally got a trading view account.
with who?
It's
Who's
trading
your
view.
broker? Who's your broker
No,
though?
not a trading account, just a subscription to TradingView.
Oh, you did. Oh,
Right.
nice.
And I when I signed up for CME
Yep.
live quote
S-
too. Yeah, the
Gotcha.
ES did just pump a little bit, so it helped Bitcoin along.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. What am I looking at here?
Just
Bitcoin
quickly to
definitely.
hold on to catch up. Jesus mentioned that a Mikester posted that gold 29.18 or something at the time, and then you said something about going on the way to 3,300.
Yeah.
So it said, and so he said, "I better hide my pinky ring."
That was awesome, bro. I just saw that. That's actually really cool. That is so funny. Um, Absolutely, man. I think it's super important to understand which way how they all sound because now they're all interlaying off each other. They're like, "Mm,
Yeah,
wow."
I I clicked the thing from AMP, and now I get like 3 emails a day from AMP. Hey, are you still interested? Hey, 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 hey.
Yeah. I tell you, man, I like AMP. I think AMP is one of the top guys there. Um, I use them as their good broker. I've never had any issues with them. I've had issues when it comes to sometimes the data feed with some of the stuff that I use, but from an actual trading standpoint, they've always if I've gotten super crazy slips, they always like they'll take care of me. But I also use them a lot. So like, and I know they've got, traders who swing, 2, $3 million, right? And obviously be at the top of their not swing, excuse me, like trade on a clip, like 2, $3 million on a clip, right? And I'm not a huge clipper guy, I'm consistent, but I'm not a huge I don't trade, hundreds of millions of dollars at a time. They still treat me good. If I got a crazy slip or a crazy something, they just say, all right, cool, boom, take care of me. So they're fair and I like them. Shout out to Amp.
I got to tell you, yesterday I was trading Mexi last night when the market was moving, and um, I was getting some really shitty fills. I mean, really, really crappy crappy fills, and Mexi's a very liquid market, and still, like I'd be up $25, and then I'd be like,
And
all
then
right, I need to get out of this. And so by the time I clicked close, uh, I would get $12 in the old account in the profit and loss,
right,
and you'd see that the fill was way off the market, and you're like, and then you go in the fine print and it says things like, we may not match your thing with the exact price.
right.
We'll match you with the best order in the range, and you're like, what the fuck does that mean? If
So
they
the
can batch you with, if I batch my $100 order with someone else's $100 order to match a $200 order, and just do one trade. But if that one's just off the price by a few ticks, they'll do it, and it says in their thing we can do that. I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like getting batched with other people's stuff and getting a worse price. Jesus is still at the DMV.
It's fun. Damn, dude, we literally only have 2 people watching this over on Rumble.
I know. You know what? I'm gonna take this time. I'm gonna do it again tomorrow, but I'm gonna do it right now too. Just let me. What the hell is going on here? Hold on a second. I'm getting summoned.
Oh, it is about your time, though.
All right, but I want to just see if this works here. Bring up the Tom screen. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is, oh, of course, that was on the wrong screen. What we have here is our new app. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I call the alpha mode, getting ready to go into beta, in which we'll send it to a couple people to try it. But this is our app here. Oops, not that. That's me. Where the fuck did it go? Are you kidding me? I just closed the page. Ugh. See, this is why I wanted to practice this today, Pedro. When we have no viewers. Now it's not going to let me in, right? No, it did. Anyway, the app here, the homepage has Pedro and I. And at the bottom of the screen, can you see the bottom of the screen?
No, I
No,
cannot.
cannot. See if I can. Oh, this screen capture never works, right? Anyway, at the bottom of the screen here, let me get it. See if I can get it here. At the bottom of the screen, you see it has 3 buttons. It has a home screen, chat, and what's coming up next? I swear to God, Pedro, I had practiced this and had it ironed out. Anyway, but say here we have Pedro's ideas, right? Pedro's ideas. We can click on Pedro, but then it isn't working right now. And we go to his ideas, and this is where Pedro is going to have his ideas for certain coins. Pedro, I took the liberty of making up a whole bunch of them for you.
Cool.
But anyway, it has this list of things here. And say here, look, Pedro has an idea about what's coming up with Bitcoin. So you just click, and it summarizes it right below it. It says buy. So there's a potential buy here with Bitcoin. You click on it, and it gives you the information. The action is a buy, term, long term versus short term, the entry point and the exit point. These are all things that are subject to change. Obviously, the terminology as Pedro and I flesh it out. I think this is Pedro's first time seeing this. And the current price here, it's not updating yet. And the strategy, which of course I just made up a whole bunch, and the reason why this trade may work. And so, and we can do it. Ethereum sell. See, this would have been a good one. Sell it. Oh, I had the prices reversed here. This would have not been a good one. Enter at 31.50 and sell at 4,000 if you're going to short it. Not a good one. But what's the strategy? Yada yada yada. And all the way through whatever we come up with putting there. Look, we even have one for buy Avalanche. Buy it here, a long-term buy. Entry, exit, what's the strategy, and so forth. And this app, it's meant to be something that our viewers can subscribe to. Simple, small fee that we'll come up with one day, depending on demand. And so the things that Pedro and I talk about on our new show coming up, which is going to be called Trade Wave, where we just go over the things in the app. Um, It'll all be there, so the viewers can follow along with us. Yeah, Jesus says he likes Stellar. Yeah, not recently. It's coming down a lot. So anyway, so we have, we can even go to Striking's ideas. Oh, the menu thing says you got to click here to do it. Striking's ideas, and my idea is I only have two little ones: Bitcoin and Ethereum. But it also has, I'll try to bring it up here, the chat function. So all of the people that are on the app can talk to each other about it, ask questions, can ask questions of Pedro and I, can post their, as Pedro calls them, their slips and receipts, that type of stuff, see how they're doing. And also, it has a link to our latest shows and all that too. All our recent broadcasts, um, which currently will automatically update as soon as I write the JavaScript for it. Um, but right now, I have for our different shows, for DYOR Live, for the AI Life, Crypto Swamp Creatures, that type of stuff. Um, uh, and uh, and we'll add other features, kind of as it becomes a thing. Pedro, there's your
Sounds
big face.
cool. Die. It's interesting.
Yes, Jesus. Striking's ideas. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Pedro's. You're going to look at all these great trading strategies and possible setups that he has, and then you're going to go over to mine. It's going to say buy more bourbon.
That's funny.
Make sure your corn is knee high by the 4th of July. That's Tom's tip of the day, and you know you're on track.
Oh
Anyway,
shoot.
I'm glad I practiced that today when we had no viewers here. Hopefully, you people on Rumble will become subscribers to our Trade Wave app. I think will be a big thing once we get rolling of it. And the best part is on the back end, we don't have to do anything. Pedro and I can just, all we have is a Google Sheets that we just enter in the information and it updates the app automatically. Auto magically. No programming needed. Nice and simple. Trade Wave, ladies and gentlemen. Trade Wave.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's still pumping, but I am out. Took my profits. Pedro, I am being summoned here, so it's.
All right, I know you gotta go. We'll go over just tomorrow. I'll finish up the technical Tuesday. This is small. I was almost done with the
Oh, I've
traditional
got 5
stuff.
minutes. If you want to go through it, that's fine.
All right, so we talked about gold. The yen is still pretty much dropping as well. So, excuse me. Let me pull it up here real quick. The yen.
I got my the sound machine working again, so I'm going to give myself an applause for the. Thank you for the. Everyone's so happy about the new app. It's going to be great.
Great. It'll be great.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Why can't I pull up the yen? Yeah.
Or the app will be no good. What's this one? Birth of Abomination. Ooh, nasty. Evil Presence. These sound effects are great. This one's for
So I guess
Jesus.
they're not giving it to us.
Evil presence of the devil against Jesus, Jesus, the Lord and Savior.
Such a pain. All right. I can't go there. Check out NVIDIA, watching NVIDIA um, sell off again. You can see here NVIDIA is pulling back, but it still can't make any type of higher highs, even on the daily. I mean, on the daily, weekly, monthly is what I'm looking at. You can see we're selling off again. We're at this level of the 109, 107 area. I really like um, Google. Google here is nice as we're coming down. I really like it. And we should see a decent bounce off that 180 or that $158 area as we start to move towards there. Be ready. We're kind of a hop, skip, and a jump away from it. So we're throwing stone. We should see some type of movement off of that 400 simple moving average on Google. You can see here with Amazon. Amazon is Again, just came through the 200 period moving average with volume, might I add. And then we tried to pull back with the top of the 8 to continue down. Again, continuing down. Um, just saw Apple go through, just getting decimated again. Put in a lower low in today, again with volume. So we're going to see what happens as it gets below the 200 period moving average. We see the 8 and the 200 period moving average cross on a lot of these. Expected to see an acceleration of sell-offs, which hence will see a sell-off of what, Tom? The Nasdaq. So again, the broad market we should see a sell-off after the Nasdaq really starts to sell off as well. Now you can check here with Tesla. Tesla's really taking a beating on the stock. You can see here, it was once at almost $500, 488. It is now sitting at 232, and most likely going to come down into the 158 area to the
Oof.
140 area, right? Again, I'm going to be picking some up here at these
Nope.
levels.
Nope.
Uh,
Elon's gonna front run you. He's. I bet you he announces a new model right before you're about to hit your zone and hit the buy button. He's gonna announce a new model, and all these people are gonna send their deposits, and the stock's gonna rocket.
And so one of the things I'm really looking forward to is potentially blowing through this area here at the 159 area, and potentially coming down to this 107 area, to the 10 to the $99 area, 100. So this, we got two areas that I'm looking at as we're coming down into these levels. One of the biggest things to be paying attention to is, again, broad market Nasdaq really seeing the 8 cross below the actual period moving average. So it's going to be a significant moment when that happens. We should see a big sell off that day, next day push back up, and then a continuation down when that happens. Let's check out our good old friend Meta. Out of all of them, Meta's been holding the strongest. From what we're doing. You can see here, it's been at one or almost 606 right now, and so from 740, so they've lost about almost 20% or 10%.
Wow.
Yeah, what is that? What is the from 7, break that up into 5. I can't think of what it is right now off the top of my head.
All right. It's you
Anyways,
can
but
just
you
use
can
the
see,
word a lot. It's a very technical term.
but it's not as much as a lot of the other sell-offs that we're seeing in the market. I mean, if you look at Tesla's almost cut about 50% of its value, right? Similar to Apple, Amazon, you can see here went from 240 all the way down to 197. I mean, we're talking to the point where it's substantial. It's starting to hit some substantial areas. Um, that's what I'm looking at in no, not yet. I'm looking at, come on, that's here we are. We're watching the
Oh,
MicroStrategy play here,
should
right?
not have should not have closed my Bitcoin long.
Oh, it's doing a push.
Mm.
All right, so you can see here that we're starting to push down here. We bounced off that 200 period moving average. We saw good volume come in Sunday or Monday, or was that Friday and Saturday and Monday? Seeing a pullback area, holding on to that 200 period moving average, but I'm almost positive they're going to drop it to that 204 area. So it might be a good area for a pullback either to the 293 to the 270 area right here in between the 20 and the 8 for MicroStrategies. So now you can see how it all is correlating with Bitcoin, how Bitcoin is falling in suit with a lot of these other major market sentiment. You see as as it's coming down here, that we're coming up to the 8 and 200 period moving average on the daily, which we then see if we see that come in, I'm expecting this again to see us tap down into that 75 to 73,000 area, and then we're going to do this whole entire process again that we see every single time. Boom. You could actually take that and then place that into this area right here, and then again, see a sell off another leg down until we start to get down to these lower areas here. So yeah, it's in a nutshell.
All right.
and we will go over a lot of the altcoins tomorrow on Wednesday. So that'd be fun. All righty, guys. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on the the air here. I appreciate it. I do have fun here talking markets with you guys. I wish you guys would ask more questions though. What with what I'm asking, so that I can really kind of elaborate on it more so than usual.
All right, ladies and germs. See if I can get my shit together here to end this show well. Had an interesting show today. We talked about a lot of stuff. I as much as I like to keep us on track with crypto and stuff, I do enjoy the other topics greatly, and I'm looking forward to having kind of the separating our shows into trade wave and being concise and on it about trading, and then our longer form shows of rambling. We had a lot of good topics, and I think a lot of those topics play well on Rumble too. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Playing the outro music. Hopefully, it's not too loud in your ear there, Pedro.
It's actually perfect. Perfect.
And so we'll be here tomorrow and Thursday and possibly Friday as well. Thanks to all the viewers on Rumble. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it. Meister, thank you very much. You are the last comment of the day. Everyone, on behalf of Pedro Garcia, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking in the digital media world. So glad to have hosted another episode of this great show. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, see you guys.